Today I'm going to show you how to make outdoor window washer. This is the kind that you can spray if you have a two-story house and you have windows way high up and you just don't want to get the ladder out, but you want to get them cleaned up. This works great. What you do is in your water, you're going to put your dish soap. I add a little bit of ammonia because it's extra cleaning power and degreases. Then you want to use Jet Dry for your dishwasher. This one's finished. You can use any brand. It's fine. Pour it in. Then just stir. Pour it in your hose-in sprayer. Hook it up to your hose and spray your windows. This is my hose-in sprayer for my garden. I just take off the end here and it makes a powerful jet sprayer. I also put on the dial the highest number for the highest amount of solution to go into my water when it mixes with my water. That way it gets my windows super clean. Spray your windows with this, let it set for just a few minutes, then spray it down with fresh water, and you will have clean, sparkling windows. This recipe is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, Volume 1. The link is in the description below. This pan here, charred with baking, just really did a number on it. Fill it up with a little bit of water. Sprinkle in baking soda, liberally around the bottom, and bring your water to a boil. Let it boil about 5 to 10 minutes, and turn the heat down when it starts to look like it's going to boil over. Turn your heat off. Let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Then scrub out your pan. The directions on how to do this is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, Volume 2. The link is in the description below. Then it's come right off. Take regular dish soap. Rub it around. And your pan is all nice and clean. This method works great on aluminum, copper, stainless steel, and non-stick pans. So be sure to use this non-abrasive method to save all your burned pans. It's a glass jar lodged in my sink. Okay, we're gonna try the shop vac. Here we go. I need to... Sorry. You're almost there, you're almost there. Yes! Yes! To start with, I use the wash rag that I clean my dishes with to clean my sink because I'm getting ready to throw it in the laundry. By the way, a wash rag is a lot more sanitary than using a sponge. So we get a fresh wash rag every single day, and this way I don't have to worry about spreading germs all the time, that kind of thing. The first way I start cleaning is I take my soap bottle, and see all this soap that's been dripping down? That just drives me crazy. So what I do is I take my rag and I rub it around and I get my soap bottle all clean. Get all the soap off, and this way I get it put on my rag, and then I take my rag and I wipe down my sink. Oops, I left my cleaning things there. And I just wipe down and get it all good and wet. Get all the food off. Let it soak for just a little bit. I don't scrub real hard. I let the water and the soap do the work for me. And one of the ways to do that is to get it all soaked down so that it's soaking. And always use hot water. So then I go down, and after it's soaked for a minute or so, and I start wiping down all the big pieces of food and get them down into the drain. Now this you should do after you wash your dishes, after every single meal. You should wipe down your sink, and this helps keep it clean on a regular basis instead of having to do a big cleaning every week or so. And I just sprinkle a little bit. You don't need a lot of cleaner. That's plenty. I mean, that's maybe a half a teaspoon. And my sink is already pretty wet and my rag is already pretty wet, so I'm not adding any additional water. And be sure you really get back here, because this is where a lot of stuff really collects in the back, because people don't think to wipe down back there. I like the Comet also because it gets rid of little rust spots and that kind of thing, and that really helps to get out some of those stains. My sink is starting to get a little stained and I can't get everything out, but I can get a lot of it. Then I rinse my Comet off, and you can just spray it down if you want and use your sprayer, although I like to rinse it with the rag because then I give it an extra scrubbing, but you don't have to. Just kind of whatever you prefer. And then if there's any little spots left, get that. Then be sure to wipe down your counter. Then after you're done cleaning, you need to take and dry your counter and the sink. This is what helps it keep it shiny and clean. Now you can see right here on my faucet where it's scratched a little bit. What happened was one of my kids were cleaning and they used one of these scratchy pads. Do not use this to clean your sink. It will scratch it. And so that's what happened here, and you can see, unfortunately, but that's just life with kids.
Today I'm going to show you how to clean a porcelain sink. Usually I use, in my dishwater, a couple of caps of bleach, and I just take it and I swish it around right before I start washing my dishes, like this. And I just let it set kind of on there while I'm doing my dishes. It doesn't take long, and my sink happens to be clean, but if you have stains, just let it set. The longer you let it set, the better it bleaches out. Now, sometimes people don't like to use bleach and different things, and I used to use even more so Comet. When you have dark marks from a pan, you know how you put a pan in a white porcelain sink and you get those marks in there? So then those times you can use just on the mark, or you can clean your sink with the Comet. And when I clean it with the Comet, I just scrub it all around. Let me put my pan out here. And I just scrub it. That's where my porcelain, this porcelain's about 70 years old, I think. And I have dinks in it. And then once you get it all scrubbed really good, I will walk away and maybe let it set for 10 minutes. You don't have to necessarily. It depends on how dirty your sink is. Now for something like this, I would just let it set for a minute or two. Then when it's ready, you just take, and it rinses very easily. I just slosh the rag, and if you don't get all totally rinsed off, it really won't matter. You'll just sit there and keep cleaning. And there you have it. Like I said, this sink is about 50 years old, and it's really not, for a white porcelain sink, in too bad shape. Good. Tara asked me, she said, okay, show them how to get a mark from a pan out of your porcelain sink. I don't ever have marks in my sink, so I said, well, I'll try, and I was trying to make a mark, and I finally got a little mark made. But when you set a pan in the sink, or when you are scrubbing a pan, lay a rag down, the dish rag or another dish rag down, and put the pan on top of that. That prevents the marks from getting in there in the first place, and so then you don't have to worry about scrubbing. Prevention is way better than trying to fix the mistake or fix the mess. And I also have this rubber dish pan that I wash my pans in, and so I set them on the rubber and it automatically makes it fine. Some people use a rubber mat in their sink too, and you can use that to set your pans on. Now I've got a little bit of a mark here, just a small mark I finally made, and I'm just going to take a little bit of Comet powder. You could probably use any kind. I use Comet, and as you can see, I just even use my finger, and the mark's gone. It just totally does. I always use Comet because the Comet, you can use Bon Ami and things like that, maybe, but the Comet is good for porcelain sinks. it bleaches it, where Bon Ami and the other powdered cleansers don't always have the bleach in them. So if Comet doesn't get it off, you've got a really bad spot, you can use wet dry sandpaper. Just go to your hardware store and they will show you what you need. And then, voila, it's gone. Especially if you have a lot of them, you can do it that way too.
Today I want to show you how to clean out a drain. It's a really simple process, but some people think it's really hard, and you don't have to buy drain cleaner to do that. I just took a paper clip, just a regular old paper clip. I'm opening it up, and I'm leaving a little end, the little end like this. Then down here, you unscrew the top, and you can actually see, can you see right there? Some of the hair is stuck in there. So what I do is I stick it down and I pull it up. And yes, this is really nasty and you should have your husband do this, but you know, can't, then just get it done yourself. And you can see I'm pulling out this huge, really gross wad of hair. And I keep a tissue by, because what I do is I pile it all in the tissue and then I throw it in the toilet. But just keep pulling it in. You can see all the hairs there. Just keep grabbing it. Keep grabbing it. Sometimes it's hard to get out, but there. Okay. Now, run super, super hot water down then when that's off. And I let it run for, you know, at least 3 or 4 minutes to get it all melt all the grease and goop out. Let's see, is there a little bit more over here? Yeah, see, here's a little tiny bit more. And then you can see if there's anything left. And then that will get all the grease and the buildup of toothpaste and everything. Then just take your lid, scoot it back on, grab the nasties, and throw them in the toilet. That's how you clean out your drain. It's gross, but it's got to be done.